the light decreases by the distance squared. So in order to use this type of technology, you have to say, I have to be exactly so far away from the sign and at the same elevation. So if it's, I'm calling them high walls, is that right? Oh, I'm getting the technology down right. Way at the top of a building, technically you'd have to be way up there to really measure 200 feet away with the illuminance meter. And done correctly, yes, you can use this type of technology for it. But the other problems is, let's say I'm aiming at the sign, but I've got street lights coming in and other types of lighting that could contribute to the illuminance levels or the foot candle levels, that's what you have. Why do people still want to use this? Well, it's an inexpensive meter, relatively. People are used to it. Plus, the biggest thing is, in a lighting plan, and I'm sure the planners have all seen this, a lot of you, you get like a photometric plot. You know, you can do calculations easily, and it's easy to measure after the fact. But for signs, I personally feel it's the wrong measurement. And what we're proposing, and it's actually the sign folks that gave me this idea, because if you look at sign advertisements, when they're talking about how bright they are, all of their measurements or their units are in what we call nits, which sounds really weird. But a nit is a form of brightness. It is light reflecting off a surface, or it's light directly coming from something. The real term is candela per meter squared, and it's, for some reason, it's called nits. So if you look at advertising, you will see our sign produces so many nits. And I'm going, wow, if that's how the people producing the signs are looking at the units, why should they be regulated that way? So this is, as one of my colleagues calls it, a nit gun, but it's really a luminance meter, which measures candela per meter squared. But a nit gun, I kind of like it. So we went around shooting signs all day with our nit gun. And all you have to do, and you all did it, right? Okay, so stand up and you can demonstrate the nit gun. Yeah, to the screen. There's a little hole in there, it's 1/3 of a degree, and what you want to do is fill the screen or whatever you're looking at with that hole. What's the reading? 273.9. Well, you don't have to get that specific. Wow. But the best thing about this, if I were 100 feet away from that screen, 200 feet, 1,000 feet, as long as that little circle was completely filled with the sign, I'd get the same measurement. So all of a sudden, you're not dependent on having to measure so many feet away. Problem is, this is expensive meter. Okay, this is a $3,000 meter. Now, the other thing is that it will, to get the brightest reading, I should be having the sign right there aimed right at me, and I'm going to get the brightest reading. And if it's white, I'm going to get the brightest reading. So in enforcement, they may not always be right at the sign perfectly, so whatever reading they're going to get is going to be less than the brightest reading. So it's actually to the applicant's advantage, you know, for enforcement. But, and as solid state technology ages, the light starts dropping output, and so over life, the nits actually go down. Now, the other problem with lighting units, all of our lighting units are linear, and our I is logarithmic. So it's not like decibels. So if I double the light level, no one can perceive. If I double the nits, very few people can perceive it. That's part of the problem. If we triple it, then you go, oh, that's almost like doubling the light, right? It's a log unit. So this is what we're working with. We're going, what is acceptable? Different colors are going to be acceptable to others. Like blue light may be perceived at night as brighter than red, just like the metal halide headlights are brighter than the tungsten. So this is what we're looking at. We went out and measured a whole bunch of daytime nits today on signs around. We're about 1,200 to 4,000 during the day to compensate for the sun. It needs to be higher. And what now tonight we're going to do is actually go out and measure the nighttime and get some representative, kind of like, what do you think? Is that too bright or whatever? And start working on it. So that's it.
Just to give them an example, this sign that's just over here on Grant and Second, that came in at, Chuck? 25?
2,500?
2,500, that's daytime.
Let's check.
Chuck was our official sign measurer, writer, downer, all the time.
2,500 to 3,700.
So we'll be interested to see if that's turned down at night. And then what was the one over, there was a Lamar sign over on, what's the parkway?
Over on Bigelow.
Yeah, Bigelow.
Bigelow at Heron, the LED at that location.
One of the faces had, I think it was 1,200. Isn't that correct?
The red reading
The red,
came in at
the red truck or
1,200.
something was 1,200, so it was pretty modest.
Oh, I want to mention one other thing. One thing we learned today, at least from a lot of the sign manufacturers, dimming the lights is very, very easy to do. Okay? In other words, the technology is built into it that all solid state technology can be dimmed. Now, it's whether it's dimmed and to what level it should be dimmed, that's the difference. So anyway, I just want to mention that to you, that LEDs are, and other solid state, which is organic LEDs, whatever the solid state technology, it has the potential to be dimmed.
Now, what are we seeing out there around the country? We're seeing a wide range of communities that use DITs. So Nancy and I surveyed a bunch of communities. We looked at some of the federal highway recommendations. We looked at the Outdoor Advertising Association of Dr. Lewin, I believe is his name. It went everywhere from 100 for, this is a nighttime, this is a daytime, up to, I think Dr. Lewin recommended a nighttime in a commercial area would be 323 was his number. You see some communities that, as we report in our paper here, where the nighttime is as high as what, 5,000?
Right.
You know,
It
so
was
there's a
ridiculous.
tremendous variation. I frankly don't think many communities realize what numbers they're picking. And so the real answer on how to do this is you've got to go out, staff has got to go out and take readings and basically try to interpolate what will be acceptable in the community. And the courts allow this sort of thing. When you set